If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. On this channel, a lot over the years, I've covered weather manipulation and weather control, as JFK says, or said in the past, and how the governments were trying to control and learn how to control climate, control weather, even Disney, as you've seen recently. The video that I put out from the 60s or 70s where they talked about weather manipulation. Well, one of the things a lot of us have talked about, and there's actually channels that are dedicated to following weather patterns that are clearly manipulated by the government, are talking about earthquakes, right? We've talked about CERN, we've talked about HAARP, I should say. I've talked about CERN, I've talked about HAARP, and many others have as well. I'm just not going to speak on anyone else's behalf, but anyway, we talked about how they've been doing and using these things and these radio waves to trigger and control the weather. And people have been calling us insane for a long time. And it's so obvious to see. And I know that there's people out there who believe, their own theories on it. And there's people who are followers of Christ who refuse to believe that the government can manipulate weather because they, obviously we all believe God is in control. But it doesn't mean that they can't manipulate the weather and that they don't manipulate the weather. It's the same as saying, well, God's in control. He wouldn't let Satanists roam the earth. Well, they do. There's free will. These people do manipulate the weather. And this is a perfect example of how unbelievable this is, because this is an example of them pretty much getting caught with their hand in the cookie jar, because people actually saw it. At first, it was reported as a 3.9 magnitude earthquake in Florida. That's what it was reported as, until video came out showing that the Navy did what was called a shock trial, an explosion meant to test a ship's ability to withstand nearby detonations, and they did it 100 miles off the coast. Listen to this nonsense.
Right now, a massive military explosion, the experimental explosion triggered by the Navy off of Florida's coast, and it registered a 3.9 magnitude earthquake. This happened on Friday. Look at that. The blast, known as the shock trial, an explosion meant to test a ship's ability to withstand nearby explosions. The Navy was testing its new aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford. It is the first time the Navy has conducted a shock trial since 1987.
Oh, okay. So how many times and how long has this been happening and going unreported? You think this is the first time that they've ever done something like this, causing an earthquake? And who's liable for anyone that had damages done? Because a 3.9 earthquake isn't just a little rattle. Something can fall off your shelves and break you. Something can fall and hit you in the head. And of course, the insurance company's not going to do anything about it. And who's going to pay for someone's hospital bill if they were walking down the stairs when this thing happened and they happen to fall? Oh, nobody answers those types of questions. They just give you an answer because somebody happened to record and film and see it in broad daylight, and then they come out and they go, oh, don't worry, it was just a test. No one's worried. We know you're doing these types of tests. The question is, what in the F are you doing having these tests 100 miles off the shore? How about you go all the way in the middle of nowhere in the ocean and do it? Oh, because you like to cause and manipulate these types of things, and then say it's just a thing of natural, it's a natural quake, right? These are natural millions of hurricanes that keep popping up, right? A couple years ago, same difference. Florida is one of the rarest states to get earthquakes. You rarely will hear any stories about an earthquake down in Florida and Alabama, right? But since this happened and since this was seen, they talk about it. Well, how about last year when there was another mysterious earthquake in Florida?
It's not every day an earthquake happens in our WKRG News 5 viewing area, but when it does, it gets people talking. A 3.8 quake hit late this morning, centered near the Alabama-Florida state line, dividing Escambia County, Alabama, and Santa Rosa County, Florida. WKRG.com mobile journalist Daniel Smithson spoke to residents who felt the rumbles.
Stu Jackson was at Opie's Coffee Shop and Cafe this morning when the ground and the walls started shaking.
I got a little concerned because you don't feel typically the ground move that strongly here.
The earthquake caused quite the scare at Opie's and Jay this morning. You can see in this video the sign above the cash register shaking.
It began increasing in intensity.
Opie's owner, Lori Elder, said the earthquake startled her.
All of a sudden, we feel something shaking, and at first I think maybe it's my girls upstairs because they're bringing in the delivery. Next thing we know, I can feel it under my feet.
The 3.8 magnitude earthquake was felt for miles, with reports from East Milton to Flomaton. Flomaton resident Louise Stacy said she didn't feel the earthquake, but it did knock down a tree branch onto her shed.
It's kind of scary, and again, it's kind of weird, isn't it? You never know what's going to happen.
Jackson, a morning radio personality, took calls from locals like Miss Stacy this morning. He said the earthquake was the strongest earthquake he's felt while living in the area.
When you feel the ground move, you know automatically this is this is something serious.
Reporting in Jay, I'm Daniel Smithson, WKRG News 5.
Oh, how convenient, too, that this story doesn't get reported of anything with the Navy. No, this was, is this another global warming thing? Is that the narrative we're going to use? Right? Oh, global warming's the earthquakes are popping up now out of nowhere. It's not places just like Alaska, Japan, or Chile anymore. Now they're popping up all around because of global warming. The Earth's tectonic plates are, yeah, okay. Interesting, right? I find it pretty interesting. I find it pretty ridiculous that they can do experimental explosions. Nobody's liable. They're causing earthquakes. What kind of trauma this could cause other people? This is a form of trauma-based mind control in a sense, because somebody feels an earthquake in the middle of the night. That's going to affect them for a long time and spook them out, especially somewhere like Florida where you're not expecting it. People in Florida don't expect to wake up to that stuff. People in California are used to that type of stuff. Does it make one right and one wrong? No. But this is what they do. They manipulate things like this all the time. The military does. What do you think the military's doing? They're sitting out there. Oh, they're testing for, from who? The boogeyman? Right. Because we're supposed to believe all these giant wars are going on and people who are hiding in caves are doing. It's all bullcrap. The military is there. It's set up against the people of their own countries. It's to protect the government from any type of uprising or upheave or anything like that. That's what they're there for. It's a show and tell. And they're out in the middle. 100 miles is not a long distance for a boat, to a Navy ship to be offshore. And they're out there doing detonations. Oh, we're doing a test trial just in case the invisible man drops an explosion near our Navy ship. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know we were at war with other Navy ships. This is what they do, folks. This is an utter joke, is what it is, that they get away with. And the narrative, instead of being about what they're doing, it's just, don't worry, folks, it was just a test. It was just a test by our Navy. No one's worried about, what we're worried about is, one, how you have the capabilities to do this in your own hand, and nobody's like, because everyone would just, nobody's concerned because everybody just goes, well, the government would never do that to its own people. It wouldn't cause an earthquake and cause damage. It wouldn't do something like Katrina, right? It wouldn't, oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Then what are they doing? Look at this. The U.S. Navy has started a series of tests on its newest and most advanced aircraft carrier. I mean, wouldn't they do the testing before the stuff is just, it's so, they get away with murder, literally. We know that for a fact. But just doing stuff like this, one, it's not necessary. Two, it's ridiculous. This whole concept is ridiculous. And three, the military, we're so advanced, we're so smart. Yeah, so you did that, and you didn't expect that type of shock to cause a 3.9 earthquake in Florida because you're 100 miles off the coast. You had no clue that was going to happen. These are supposed to be the smartest, most advanced people operating the Navy and all these military operations. Yeah, okay. Sounds like somebody got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. So the first set of tests, which are known as full ship shocks, occurred Friday when the Navy set off a giant explosive event. I mean, give me a break. Image and video showed an enormous burst of water shoot from the ocean as a result of what carrier officials called 40,000-pound explosives. Video of what the explosion looked like from the carrier's bridge wing was posted to Twitter. I mean, give me a break. The U.S. Geological Survey said that the explosion, which occurred in the Atlantic Ocean off the Florida coast, registered a 3.9 magnitude earthquake. The Navy conducts shock trials on new ships all the time using live explosives to confirm that our warships can continue to meet demanding mission requirements under harsh conditions they might encounter in battle. What battles are going on? First, in case a battle goes on. You mean one of the fake battles you tell us is going on the news? I mean, give me an utter break. The story should be about the fact that we have a military that can create earthquakes like this wherever they want by doing these types of things. Because any type of test like this should be done in the middle of nowhere where it wouldn't affect anything or anyone. But they don't even talk about it because they're like, well, of course the Navy needs to be able to protect from explosive attacks and things like that. Come on. That's what they're there for. The power that these people wield, the type of technology that they wield is beyond anyone's comprehension. The things that they have. They're so far advanced in the technology. You think that what we have now that they give us with the 5G phones and things like, oh, look what we can do on this. Are you kidding me? These people have like radiation type weapons that they use on people. So people just go sleep with the fishies without even having any evidence that anything was done to them. I mean, the stuff is just ridiculous, and they just have it, and we trust in them to have this type of power and this type of ability. We let them have it, and the stories just come out, cool, neato, an explosion, take a look, whoa, look at all the water. It looks like a ride at Six Flags theme parks, where they go down on the boat and the water flies up and everyone gets wet. Next up, why don't you guys start reporting on HAARP and CERN? And, if you're saying that a little test by the Navy can cause a 3.9 quake, then we'd like to know what exactly is going on with CERN and HAARP these days, especially since HAARP was turned back on. Oh, but they won't tell you, right? Because this is over our heads, folks. We're too dumb to understand what they're trying to do. We're just peasants. Give me an utter break. And sure, people are going to listen to me like, Call, you're over-exaggerating this stuff like this. No, I'm not. They shouldn't be able to. Who elected and gave them the authority to wield this type of power where we're trusting in these people that we don't even elect to have the power to create earthquakes, hurricanes, weather manipulation, which the government openly admits to being able to do. And people are just like, so what? That doesn't mean that the 50 hurricanes that hit Florida per year now, compared to on average like one every 5 years. Oh, that's not coincidental. Just like statistics for autism, how high they are. That's a coincidence too. And fertility rates in America are in the toilet. Oh, that's a coincidence too. Nobody asks questions and says, why are these numbers so staggering? What chemicals are causing these things in the human body? What type of jabs are causing a rise in autism and a normalization when they come out with TV shows like The Good Doctor to make everyone think it's okay and it's normal because people are born this way instead of saying they shouldn't be born this way because they should not have this disease. Oh, but they're normal. Oh, okay. Just like this. Oh, let's just normalize it. It's a Navy test. Oh, so what can we expect next? Are you going to drop... come 50 miles in and drop one so we can get a 6 earthquake and then just go, oops, yeah, we're just doing testing. Don't mind the fact that we ruined your house or caused damages or caused Trump. No big deal. Because we got to protect the boat from something that doesn't even exist, a threat that doesn't exist, because all these governments are working together to form a new world order. And there's zombies out there think, there's friction between China. I'm getting sick of the people who think they're awake and still believing in the left-right paradigm. And they're like, China released the thing. Nothing was released. China and America. Oh, Russia. Kidding me? You're not awake if you're listening and believing that stuff. It's still a mainstream theme, a mainstream narrative. All the governments work together. They're all in bed with each other. Period. This is to form a new world order. Not just a few governments going, we're going to do it, and then we're going to go against these other governments who don't want it. They all want it. They're all part of the same bloodlines. The people you think elected aren't elected. They're selected. They're related to each other. What a joke. So go ahead. Yeah, let's trust in Big Brother. Go do more testing off the shore. Call it testing, cause earthquakes, cause storms, cause this, cause tornadoes, whatever. Sure, because they would never want to harm anyone. Can't you see that they want to help everyone? That's why they want everyone jabbed, because they want to help us. Place is a joke. This world is a joke. And these people living amongst us are a joke. because they can't even see any of this stuff, and they just go, Cole, he's a crazy conspiracy and he's overreacting. They're doing tests in the Navy. And shut up. I mean, just shut it and shove it while you're at it. Trusting in these people and what they're doing. Don't even think, because it wasn't on the news. They didn't report anyone getting hurt. They just showed a cool ocean explosion. They didn't report anything. Maybe a car accidents were caused or anything. No. So then nobody cares. They're just like, well, it's even if somebody's house fell over, it's important. So the Navy had to test the magnitude of the explosion in case they get something falls on them. These people sign up for it for the first of all, and then they become Manchurian candidates, and they become the same people who want to take away our rights. So who cares about any of it, really? It's a joke. I thank you guys for listening. I don't feel like ranting anymore about it. Hey, USA! Hey, USA! Hey, USA! It's almost the 4th of July. Get ready, folks. America! The science experiment that it is. Thank you guys for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.